Close your eyes. Breathe. Now imagine a farmer standing at the edge of his field at dawn, calloused hands gripping a rusty plow. The soil is hard, cracked, relentless. He's been here before. Last season, last year, last decade. The neighbors whisper he's wasting his life, but he leans into the plow anyway, cutting deeper into the earth. Why? Because Jim Rohn whispered the truth to him long ago. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Success isn't a lottery, it's agriculture. You don't find it, you farm it. Seed by seed, sweat by sweat, season by season. And right now, 99% of people are abandoning their fields moments before the harvest. Why? Because they never learned the algorithm. The invisible law that turned a broke, disillusioned 25-year-old Jim Rohn into a titan of personal growth. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. Let's get brutally clear. Your current life is a perfect reflection of your standards. Not your dreams, not your potential, not your someday, your standards. Rohn didn't say, aspire to be a millionaire. He said, become $1 million person and you'll attract $1 million. Most people never grasp this. They keep planting seeds in barren soil, then rage at the sky when nothing grows. Look at young Rohn in 1955, a struggling bread salesman in Idaho, barely making $42 a week. No connections, no pedigree, no luck, just a choice. Blame the world or rebuild himself. He chose the latter. For 5 years, he devoured books, studied philosophers, and shadowed mentors like Earl Schoaf. Why? To till the soil of his mind, to uproot weeds of doubt, to fertilize discipline. Most crucially, to understand that poverty isn't a financial condition, it's a mindset. Here's where 99% go wrong. They want autumn's harvest in spring's planting season. Rohn's algorithm demands patience. Discipline weighs ounces, he said, but regret weighs tons. Think of Rockefeller meticulously tracking every penny at 16. Of Oprah Winfrey honing her voice in Radio Shacks before cameras found her. Of Kobe Bryant shooting 800 jumpers daily at 4 a.m. while competitors slept. Discipline isn't punishment. It's promise-keeping to your future self. You think Rohn woke up inspired every morning? He woke up committed. Rain or shine, fire or flood. He knew the secret. Motivation is a fickle lover, but discipline is an ironclad marriage. Most quit because they expect motivation to carry them up Everest. The 1%? They bring ropes, spikes, and bloody knuckles. Rohn's razor. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Let that terrify you, because right now, your friends, your routines, your late-night scrolls, they're all either greenhouse or herbicide. Carnegie surrounded himself with giants like Edison and Ford. Serena Williams crafted a cocoon of coaches who refused to coddle her. Bezos built Amazon not in a garage, but in a culture of day one relentless hunger. Most people live in psychological slums, then wonder why their dreams suffocate. Clean house. If your circle doesn't demand more from you, they're stealing from you. If your habits don't stretch you, they're shrinking you. Rohn didn't mince words. Don't join an easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectations are high and the pressure to change is fierce. Here's the hardest truth. The algorithm requires crisis. Rohn's mentor, Earl Schoaf, told him, "Don't let the pain of a season make you forget the promise of a lifetime." Every breakthrough is preceded by a breakdown. Lincoln's nervous collapse before the presidency, Jobs' exile from Apple before the iPhone era, Malala's bullet before the Nobel. But here's what the 99% miss. The breaking point is the tipping point. When your knees buckle, your vision blurs, and your soul screams, quit. That's the algorithm's final exam. Will you leave the field like the masses? Or will you do what Rohn did? Plant one more seed, read one more page, Endure one more no. This isn't motivational fluff. This is physics. The few who do what the many won't earn what the many can't. Rohn's final lesson: live a life that outlives your heartbeat. Success isn't a bank account. It's a blueprint, a torch passed. When you master the algorithm, you don't just change your life, you alter destinies. Think of Shakespeare's quill scratching in the dark, of Marie Curie's radium burns, of Rohn himself, who left stages 20 years ago but still speaks through millions daily. The 99% chase trophies, the 1% build cathedrals. So I ask you, will your life be a footnote or a fire? Will you abandon the field tonight or plow deeper into the dark? Remember, every empire, every masterpiece, every legend began as a choice, not a feeling, not a circumstance, a choice. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction tonight. The algorithm demands your answer. Let me show you the fork in the road where destinies split. On one path, the 99% shuffling forward with eyes fixed on the ground, trading their dreams for distractions, their potential for comfort. On the other, the 1%, heads high, pupils ablaze, marching to the drumbeat of a future only they can see. This is the power Rohn called the art of becoming a meaningful specific in a world addicted to wandering generality. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple by accident. He etched his vision into reality like a sculptor chiseling marble, chip by chip, day by day. At 23, he sat cross-legged on the floor of his parents' garage, sketching circuit boards with a hunger that frightened normal people. Normal. That's the problem. Normal is the graveyard of genius. The algorithm demands you see what isn't there yet, to whisper to ghosts of your unconquered future. Here's the brutal math they hide from you. Michelangelo's David wasn't carved in a day. It took 2 years of a mallet screaming against chisel, marble dust clogging lungs, fingers bleeding through bandages. Mastery isn't an event, it's a ritual. Rohn's law. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. Elon Musk reads 10 hours weekly while running 3 empires. Serena Williams hit 2,500 serves the day after winning Wimbledon. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter in stolen moments between feeding infants and surviving on welfare. The algorithm doesn't care about your talent, it cares about your repetition, your willingness to bleed in the dark, far from applause. Most quit because they want to skip the drilling and leap straight to the podium. But here's the secret Rohn unearthed. The podium is forged in the drilling. Let's shatter the fantasy. Success isn't about positivity, it's about pain. Controlled, deliberate, transformative pain. Abraham Lincoln's face wasn't carved with laugh lines. It was etched by 12 election losses, a nervous breakdown, and the weight of a nation tearing itself apart. Yet he said, "I'm a slow walker, but I never walk back." You want the algorithm? Pay attention. Rohn's mentor, Earl Schoaf, worked 3 jobs while studying philosophy at night. His hands shook from exhaustion. His eyes burned. But he whispered to himself, "A year from now, you'll wish you started today." Most people run from the grind. The 1%? They lean into it like blacksmiths shaping steel, because they know the fire that melts butter forges iron. History's giants share one trait. They turned time into an ally, not an enemy. At 65, Colonel Sanders was broke, living off Social Security, rejected 1,009 times before KFC exploded. At 72, Tolkien published Lord of the Rings, a story he'd scribbled in trenches during World War I. At 91, Charlie Munger still dominates Wall Street with a mind sharper than scalpels. Rohn's algorithm defies clocks and calendars. Don't let the fear of the time it will take to achieve something stop you from starting, he warned. The time will pass anyway. Most abandon their dreams because they count days. The 1%? They make days count. They understand. A river cuts through rock, not by force, but by persistence. This is where the algorithm separates sheep from titans. Right now, as you watch this, your mind is whispering, "Is this for me? Can I really change?" Let me answer with Rohn's thunder. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. In 1959, a 25-year-old Rohn stood before his first audience, a room of 10 people in a dim cafe. His voice shook. His palms dripped. But he spoke anyway. Why? Because he'd made a vow. No more excuses, no more playing small. That night, the algorithm shifted, not because he was perfect, because he showed up imperfectly persistent. You feel that ache in your chest, that restlessness at 3 a.m.? That's your untapped potential screaming for oxygen. Rohn called it the noble discontent, the holy fire that drove Da Vinci to dissect corpses for art, that propelled Malala from a hospital bed to a Nobel podium, that turned a struggling salesman named Rohn into a philosopher king. The 99% wait for perfect conditions. The 1% strike like lightning in a drought. Rockefeller started bookkeeping during the Civil War chaos. Oprah launched her show amid racial and gender barriers no one thought she'd survive. ChatGPT, built by coders who programmed through pandemics and panic. Your moment isn't coming. It's here. Let's circle back to Edison's filament. That glowing wire didn't just light a bulb, it illuminated humanity's path forward. You're holding that same spark. The question is, will you let it die in the socket of doubt? Or will you channel it into a blaze that outshines the sun? Rohn's final truth? You are the architect of your destiny. You are the sculptor of your fate. You are the painter of your own masterpiece. The algorithm isn't a secret. It's a choice, repeated daily, hourly, by the breath. To rise when others sleep, to study when others scroll, to persist when others plead. The field is waiting. The soil is yours. The seeds are in your hands. Now, plow.